since this is a real edge case, I'm not going to build this example from scratch. I'm just going to show you what's happening. See this particular frame here, it's really tucked away. This one's actually being used as a point of navigation. So you can scroll anchor to and anchor up to the top. So let's just go and have a look at what's happening on this layout in the backend. Okay, so I'm just going to jump over. So the first thing, I'm going to put it into design mode, and what we've got here is a half, and both of these have got a fixed height in here. So we've got a fixed height and a fixed height. Okay, now in here we've got a whole bunch of things going on. This particular text isn't fixed at the bottom, so it's no good me in this case putting in a child height, because I don't want all of this child to be positioned to the bottom. I only want this element to be positioned to the bottom, but not the text on top. Okay, so if I put this in business mode, you can see this one here I want bottom right, and this text here I want at the top. So I couldn't use, in this case, the child bottom. Okay, if I did do this, it's going to get confused, because this one wants to be at the bottom and this one doesn't. Okay, so it's just rule of thumb edge cases here. So what I can do is put this actual frame here, I can make it absolute bottom right. Okay, so let me just put it back into design mode. Let's have a look at this. This has got a width 35, and if I come down to my position here, you can see the child element is set from off. I can set it to absolute, in this case bottom right. Now the editor and business mode will show this. Okay, so we've got absolute bottom right, but that's, I'm going to just say a sentence, right, because this is absolute bottom right, but relative to what? Okay, well in this case we want it absolute bottom right, either relative to this particular frame or probably relative to the actual parent, right? So we need to tell the markup here, this is an absolute bottom right relative to the parent. So what we would do in the position element here, we would call this relative. So on mobile, we like to make it sound a bit easier for learning. So we call the relative the parent, and we call the absolute the child. Okay, so this is absolute, let's just put it in here, this is absolute bottom right relative to the parent. So that is it, that's absolute and relative. There are instances where you would use this. In this case, this is kind of a bit of an edge case where you don't want this to be positioned, and it gets a bit funky when you position things on this child height. This is the height, and you position this when this has got some text as well. So that's why most often, in the first case I taught you there with the banner, that's why I like to teach that one first. Use that most often. Whereas front-end developers, they often will go to this one first. This absolute relationship with the relative, so the absolute child position relative to the parent frame or the parent div. Lovely. Okay, so I think you get that.